So here are some things that I think are good to avoid if you are struggling with anxiety. And number one is that we have to avoid drinking too much coffee. Too much coffee is, a bit vague, of course, because it's different for all of us, what we can handle. I noticed that if I'm feeling really anxious in the morning already, that it's not really a good idea to drink more than 2 cups of coffee that day. Other days it's completely fine to drink 3 cups of coffee, but it kind of depends on how I'm feeling in the morning. But I think it's a really simple thing to keep in check how much coffee you are drinking. Also, it's a good thing to not drink coffee as soon as you wake up, because in the morning your cortisol levels are quite high still. Cortisol is this stress hormone, and it's really normal that this level elevates when you are sleeping, and it's still quite high in the morning. But if you drink coffee in the morning, then it kind of adds to that cortisol, and it's better to let the cortisol levels decline normally. And then I usually myself drink coffee around 10 in the morning. Then I drink my first cup of coffee. It's better. I've read that it's a good thing to wait a little bit, and also to not drink coffee too late in the afternoon, because then we can have trouble sleeping at night. And number 2 is that we should try to avoid a too busy schedule. And I myself am quite guilty of this one. I can plan like a lot of things, and especially when I'm quite excited, I can plan like my whole weekends. I don't really see a problem right then that my whole weekend is filled up, and I think, okay, it's gonna be fun, no problem. But I also noticed, and I've learned, that I really need to keep in mind that I need my evenings off. I need, especially also in the weekends, I'm not like planning my Saturday and my Sunday full. I always want like a part of the day that is completely for myself, and that I don't have planned anything. Also not when I'm just at home. I just try to keep my calendar clear, and it also keeps it also works when I look at my calendar at the start of the week, that I see, okay, I really have this moment during the week where I can just relax and recharge, and I don't have to do anything. Try to avoid filling up that calendar or your agenda, and make space and room and just time for yourself to really recover and recharge. And the third one is that we should try to avoid cutting out sleep. I'm really fan of sleeping. I can also get already a bit cranky when I know that I'm not gonna get enough sleep, like the upcoming night, for example. So for me, it's really important to have a good night rest. Sleeping is really in nowadays, and cutting out sleep is kind of not so cool anymore. And I'm really happy with that development, that we really prioritize sleep more and more. I noticed before that when you went to bed early, or when you went to bed early during the weekends, that was kind of considered lame, or I don't know, it was kind of cool when you only had 3 hours of sleep last night and blah blah blah. It's just not good for me. I noticed I'm not feeling my best the next day. I definitely feel more anxious the next day. So for me, it's really important to get enough sleep, and I think especially when you're really prone to feeling anxious, that you should really focus on getting enough sleep. And number 4 is not talking about the things that are bothering you. I've also noticed that when I'm really worrying about a lot of things, and I try to keep it inside and not talk about it, that it just builds up. That build up that is causing me to feel restless, to feel anxious, to not feel myself. And it's really something that I notice has really something to do with how I'm feeling. Also, when I know that talking about it is not gonna in the end do anything about the solution, because it's just something that I have to go through, or I just have to be patient for the results or anything, then still it is a good thing to just talk about it, and to talk about the things that you are afraid of, or that is weighing you down. Give it room, I think, instead of just keeping it in, because it is gonna come out in a way at a certain time. And of course, there are also people who say, I don't like talking about it, I'll just go to the gym, and gym is my therapy. It is also they call it a form of emotion regulation, and of course that's a good thing to release some of that nervousness and that anxiety to get more of all the good hormones and neurotransmitters like dopamine and the feel-good hormones. But it's not enough in that you just don't have to talk about your problems anymore. Try to avoid the mistake of keeping it all in and try to make it discussable with someone. And number 5 is spending too much time on social media. And I noticed that I tend to scroll through Instagram, for example, a lot more when I'm feeling anxious or when I'm not feeling my best, that I just automatically grab my phone and start scrolling. And it maybe helps in that moment a little bit because you're focusing on the things you're seeing and not thinking of your problems so much. So it's not like the worst or something you can't do it all. I notice for myself that when I'm doing that a lot, it's just giving me more this feeling of restlessness. After scrolling for, I don't know, in half an hour, for example, and I put my phone away, I'm not feeling any better. I'm feeling down, and when I'm feeling anxious, that kind of adds to it. So it fuels that feeling, and it takes away a lot of the time that we can really use to really, recharge and to be just on our own, or to do something that is gonna really help with that anxiety. The most important thing here is just a bit of balance, not something awful to do or wrong, or I think we just have to be a little bit careful with it. And number 6 is not taking care of yourself or not having any structure in your life whatsoever. I myself tend to take less care of myself when I'm feeling anxious. I just don't really feel like it, and I just want to be comfortable and not do the things I don't feel like doing. I think we have to try to avoid, if you feel anxious, that we let go of the basic like self-care habits that we have, and that even if we don't really feel like doing them, that we really should try doing them, because afterwards we most of the time will feel better, or in the long run it is a good thing for us. So I think we should try to avoid not taking care of ourselves. And then the last one is that we should try to avoid staying inside the whole day if we are feeling anxious. I know this is a difficult one, especially when your anxiety is quite high and you really don't feel like going out, and you really want to stay inside the whole day and just be by yourself, and you don't want to like run into people or people you know, or only the feeling of going outside will give you anxiety. I think we have to be careful of making it a habit of staying inside every time when we feel anxious, because then that will feel like the thing we need to do and it will make us feel good in that moment. But in the long run, it isn't going to make us happy. Even when you feel anxious, it is a good thing to go outside and maybe start really like with small steps, that you say, I'll only go outside for 10 minutes. I walk around the block and then I go inside again. That's the only thing that I have to do. And maybe when you walk outside for 10 minutes, it feels kind of okay, and you can walk outside for 15 minutes. Don't make it too big also for yourself. Make it really simple, make it really doable. Try to make it as comfortable as possible, but do try to kind of coach yourself to really, do go outside to get some movement, and try to avoid staying inside the whole day when you're feeling anxious. Okay, these were some things that I think it's a good thing that you should avoid when you're feeling anxious. And I think it sounds so simple and it sounds so basic, because it is basic. Like, these are the basics. These are the basics that are so good for us, and that a lot of the times I think we try to really focus on this magical solution or make it really difficult for ourselves, and we forget the basics. Okay, this is it for today, and I hope I'll see you next time again. Bye.